Well, hello and welcome to ILoveGay today. And we're with Kedzie Teller in Philadelphia. How you doing, Kedzie?
Oh, I'm good. I'm making it through, all thumbs up.
I see you daily on your tweets about your life in quarantine.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to keep a nice little like COVID diary going because I'm not sure how many people know this, but I've been alone now for 76 days, or is it 77? I don't know how to check my diary. But yeah, I'm trying to keep a log of how things are going, and because I think this is going to be really interesting to look back on.
Oh yeah.
Because we're all weathering the same storm, but we're all in very different boats. And so mine is definitely unique.
Yeah, no,
Here.
I love it. Your favorite tweet of mine, by the way, I think you knew this, but you may have forgot. It was when you posted something about a top question you get asked. What's a Kedzie?
Yeah, people are always very confused by my name. They always try to create other versions of it to make themselves more comfortable.
Yeah.
McKendrick is usually a longer version of my name that doesn't exist. So yeah, what's a Kedzie is we're
It
pretty.
was it was funny, but it's through Twitter. I mean, that's how you and I met. I think you were doing work with Visit Philly. We were through ILoveGay Philly. We were sharing your posts and from others, and I think you just simply had that question: "Who the heck are you?" And
Oh.
but I love it. You were proactive. You picked up the phone and said, "Who the heck are you?"
Yeah, I mean, I always want to network. I always want to get to know people. I did my research, obviously, on you. Now, I mean, we're friends now, but back in the time, you just
Yeah.
seemed like someone that would be a great colleague to have. You were doing big things and doing a lot of the things that I want to be able to do. So yeah, I'm proactive. I'm not shy at the very least. So
That's my favorite. No, I mean, I love that because the work you're doing with Visit Philly, you did that all last summer, I think, right? And I thought it was perfect because like I really felt like I was able to see Philly through your eyes as you
well, thank you.
strolled. And
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, when I moved here 3 years ago, which is crazy to think 3 years ago at this point, I feel like I just got here and I've already lived here longer than I lived in Austin, Texas, which is where I lived before. And I felt like I was in Austin for for a long time. But when I moved here, I picked up the hobby of like photography just in general. I thought the city was beautiful. So I wanted to show people the city through my eyes. And then I learned about Visit Philly and they became like this dream job client for me that I always wanted to work with. And lo and behold, about a year later, I was working with them quite a bit. And yeah, when you and I were first introduced, they were a bulk of my hours with the business that I've been running.
yeah, and that's what you do. I mean, you're helping companies just kind of market and promote themselves, but primarily through social. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because my background was never social. Like I was a journalist who then became a marketer and internal communications manager. Social was just always something I did for fun on the side. And I will be honest, I never wanted social to be like my niche. And I still to this day like love to do other things. But the bulk of work requests I get are for social strategy and just sort of how to story tell through different social platforms.
We all have different journeys to get here. I was an engineer once.
No way. That I did not know. That's interesting. I want
And
to
this
dive
has
into that sometime.
nothing to do with engineering, but no, I love the work. Like I said, that's how we met because you were doing marketing and social media for Philly, for Visit Philly. But then also now you're doing stuff with Amanda Freitag,
Yeah,
from
which
Cooking Show.
I don't even know if you know this, but I actually met her through Visit Philly. So like
Really?
world works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Amanda Freitag, Food Network, Chopped, Judge, all around amazing human being. When I was working for Visit Philly, we had this opportunity to shoot just some video productions about the city through her eyes and her adventure through it. It's a long story. I won't bore you,
Yeah.
but I was assigned that project because there was going to be a social campaign around it, and I was trying so hard not to freak out because I love her. And spent the day with her. I try to keep myself calm because production is like what I did before this. So I was just managing the shoot along with like the actual production managers and having a good time. And she reached out to me a few weeks after when she realized that I was actually not a Visit Philly employee, but rather they were my client. And she was like, "You are all great, and I want to work with you." So we met and I met up, talked about what she was trying to actually achieve. And
Yeah.
yeah, now I run, I mostly it's social video productions with her, but she I think refers to me as her digital marketing manager. I think that's what we landed on because we're moving into brand projects, website stuff, all kinds of just overall marketing and
Yeah.
communications programs.
half the battle sometimes in winning is just showing up, and you show up. You were there and they got to know you, and you weren't hiding behind a computer and making all this magic happen.
No, you said that you just nailed it on the head there. It's like, I don't know. I've talked with classes at my old university, BU, and I talk with students here and other people like early on in their careers, which I am as well. Like I'm a baby. But the biggest point I always try to get across, and it sounds so cliche as that, is just show up and like be yourself. And if you have something to say, people want to listen. And more often than not, life really is about who you know, and like how like the relationships you build with those people. Because if you make someone like you, they want to work with you, and the world works really odd ways. So
yeah, but actually that's the way the world has always worked. And even though people think that with all this technology and email and social, I think the weakness is when people actually think that can replace the human interaction. And I think, when people ask how did it work for you? How did you succeed? And I just say, show up, be out there, talk to people, let them, be yourself. And
you just made me think that you bring up a great point, and it's something I've never really noticed before. But like, me through Twitter, right? I've met a lot of friends, made a lot of friends through social media. But one of the things I always find super interesting when you meet someone that you know online and like in real life and become real life friends is what their reaction is to meeting the real you. And like, I know I've gotten multiple times from people being like you are just like your online persona. Like, this is exactly what I expected. And to me, I was always surprised, like, what do you mean? Like, why is that so surprising? They're like, well, I've met a lot of my Twitter friends, and like who they are online is not like at all who they are in person. And I'm like, oh no, like what you see is what you get. So
No, that's another thing I tell people. It's very human to succeed in this environment. You just have to realize there's a person over there, and you have to show interest in them. They show interest in you, and it's just the way people work. And
for sure.
But also what I always see you posting is tennis. And of course you haven't done that as much lately because you're probably a little stuck.
Yeah, no, sadly, tennis is my love. So my job before this job, because so I've been running my business for 2.5 years, which is crazy. But before this, I worked for the agency that managed the Women's Tennis Association's digital everything. So my job was to like do video productions with the players and the tournaments and things like that. I'm obsessed with tennis. I love it very much. I grew up in a soccer family and I love soccer, but like I always had this weird thing that I always wanted to play tennis, and I don't know why I never fought for it. But yeah, no, now these days it's hard because I don't know if you're aware, but like I am unfortunately high risk with coronavirus because of some health complications. And so even as the world starts to open up, I've had teammates who are like, hey, let's play. And I'm like, I don't know what I can and cannot do. So I'm trying to figure it out because I miss it.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, that's because you're also, you're an ambassador for Athlete Ally, right? Is that the...
Yeah.
Sports,
I thought this was their shirt, but it's not.
I like that. I love that actually. No, because I know that sports and then being, really being a representative in the world of LGBT sports, it seems important for you.
Yeah, that's where, if I were to reassess life goals at this point, because as you know, the world is crazy. Having a blueprint for life doesn't make sense anymore. But or never really did. Yeah, that's where I'd like to take my career at some point. I want to get more into advocacy work within the sports world for LGBTQ people. I mean, obviously, advocacy needs to be done across the board. But having grown up in a world where sports were number one, sports were everything, and being gay and not out about it and feeling less and all that kind of stuff, it's like a really, really important thread to my personal journey. So yeah, Athlete Ally and I connected in 2000 and I want to say 15 or 16. It's been a long time. And that's back when I was playing, yes, believe it or not, professional Quidditch, which we've talked about. I used to play for the Team USA. And they were like, didn't know that sport existed, one. Didn't know it was full contact, and like, awesome too. And then they were like, we love that they have such gender inclusive rules, because that's the thing with Quidditch being like a sport people don't know about. There's also all these rules and things that they're doing that are amazing, and one of them is they have this I don't remember it's like title something. Anyways, players are allowed to and encouraged to play as the gender that they identify as. And they also have really progressive rules on genders on the field in terms of
Yeah,
numbers
yeah.
and things like that. So yeah, anyways, that's my long story about how I got connected with them. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. They're great people. And they're doing a
Yeah.
lot for the world.
Are you planning to go to the gay games next 2 years from now, I think?
Yes, I haven't thought about it. I would love to go,
Yeah.
whether competing in something or just to like watch and have fun.
Yeah.
I know I missed out the last time around because I think it was you. You were asking me if I was going,
Yeah.
or it could have been someone else. Was it you?
I think it was because it was around that time we were chatting. It was close to when the Paris games were going on.
Yes, it was you. It was the Paris
Yeah.
game. Yes. No, I did not go. I just like there's a whole world, honestly, and it's my own fault for somebody who's so online and so trying to be in touch with everything and get more into the LGBTQ world and sports. I still feel like there's so much I don't know about, I'm not aware of, I'm not involved in, and I want to be. So let me know when these things are going on.
I will. Well, I just can't wait to see you when I'm back in Philly again because we hung out for a brief 5 minutes there when I was there last summer. And,
where are you right now?
What's that?
So where are you right now?
Yeah, Allentown.
Okay.
Yeah, so just a hop, skip, and a jump away from you.
Yeah, not far at all, but he's got to get this world to be a little bit, nicer and
Exactly.
and get you in here, and we can all hang out and catch up.
It'll happen eventually, but I know. But great to see you here, and I look forward, like I said, to seeing you in the real world again.
Thank you. It's been a lovely time, and let's make sure we stay in better touch. Okay.
You got it. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
All right, take care.